Welcome to the Back and Forth, the show by co-parents
for coparents,
talking about the things that co-parents go through. I'm Kevin, and this is
Chanel.
Let's go! And 3, 2, and 1. All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Back and Forth Show. I am Kevin, and this is
Chanel. Hello, everybody.
All right, hello. I didn't ask you yet. How are you doing, Chanel?
I said hello, everybody. I wasn't talking to you, Kev.
I say hello, Chanel. Can you hear me?
Hi, Kev.
I hear you.
I know you hear me.
How you doing?
I'm great. How are you? Are you sure you okay?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great. I'm just trying to make sure I get out ahead of this and make sure I do all the cordial things that we're supposed to do before we start the show, before you go in on me, because you always do. And I just want to make sure I introduce you to the audience out there. We may have some new viewers who might not know who you are. And so I wanted to make sure I introduce them to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that, sir.
You're welcome. Are you going to ask me how I'm doing? Hey, I'm doing great, Chanel. Thanks for asking. Thanks for asking how am I doing. I'm doing great. Hey, you guys out there, could you do us a favor? You know, we always, we want to make sure we're putting this content out here for co-parents out there, for the blended parents, the step parents, the village parents, the bonus parents, and everything. But we want to make sure that we are equipping you with ways to handle situations that you all may go through on a daily basis. We don't know what's going on. Everybody's situation is unique, but we all know that somebody's going through something right now. Either somebody's going through something, somebody's coming out of something, or somebody's about to go into something. We know that fact. Those are 3 types of people out there. But if you're one of those 3 types of people, regardless, would you please hit the like, subscribe, and notification button?
Do that for us, please.
Yeah, please.
Thank
do that.
you.
Please do that for us. Let us know that y'all
It's right there
watching.
down below.
It's right there down below, like she just said. Chanel Renee just said that. Chanel Renee Speaks just said that. It's right down below. But
okay, Kevin L.
But
Scott.
Chanel, why you gonna call me my government name out here?
You got my whole name on my Instagram name.
You put it out there. Hey, so
you did too.
That's neither here nor there, because potato. I got something I want to ask you. You know, we always talking about co-parents and their situation they go through, and there's one familiar thing that we always have to come back to. Now, we're not talking about communication or our children. We're talking about boundaries.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Boundaries, and those boundaries that we put in place are there for a reason. Chanel, I think this week you ran across something and you wanted to share it with our community out there. And so I think Chanel has a video, and I think she's going to ask me to play it, and I'm going to put it in the middle of the screen. Right here, right, Chanel? In the middle?
Yeah.
So can you give us some kind of information about what this video is about?
So, like Kev said, that this video is about boundaries and how sometimes we can kind of cause put some stuff on our own selves because of the lack of boundaries. And so this mom is going to share what she's learned through the lack of boundaries that she's had with her co-parent for several years, and how she was able to resolve that for herself. Take a look.
Bio mom's behaving badly. Here we go. So every summer, my ex-husband goes on a 10-day long hiking, fishing, backpacking trip. And this year, I decided to take the kids on a 14-day vacation during his vacation. And in 2021 was my year to pick when I took my vacation first. So I decided to do it while he was on his. And he wouldn't give me an answer whether he wanted to miss Father's Day or 4th of July. And I totally get those are both important holidays. So I am trying to plan my trip, and he is taking forever to tell me which one he wants to do. And then finally he says, well, I don't want to miss either one. And I'm like, okay, well, we're going on vacation. So I just need to know. I need to know. And I'm losing it. And I finally said, you know what? I have done everything over the last 4 years that I can to help you anytime that you need it. Anything that you need, I'm there to help you. but you can't make a choice. And from the outside, I probably sounded like the bitch on the planet. Like, I totally get it. But I went back and talked to my therapist and went over a few things with her. And she was like, Katie, for the last 4 years, you have canceled plans. You have committed to watching the kids for 12 weeks while he's coaching and making extra income. And then, like, I can't work then. So anytime the kids are sick, I was watching them. And anytime he needed anything, I would watch them. And that led to a lot of resentment on my part. That's not his fault. The fact that I was continuing to bend over backwards to help him, and I mean, you guys, I can't even tell you how many times I missed out on work because he couldn't miss out on work, or how many times I canceled plans that I already had and were paid for so that I could help. Or how many times, I'm not talking about like just your generic, like, hey, can you watch the kids today? Like, if it wasn't impeding on my life, I would totally do it. But I was literally continuing for the last, until the last summer to do anything and everything he asked. Anything, anytime, anywhere, I would do it. And so that little temper tantrum this past June, I was like, damn, like, this is a me thing. This is not a him thing. It became really obvious to me that the reason I was freaking out on him like this was because I never said no. And I felt like he controlled my life because every single time he asked me to do something, I did it. And this little freak out that I had, I was like, dude, that's not who I am. I don't know why. Like, why am I acting this way? And it all boiled down to me needing to say no more because it was literally impacting my financial health, my emotional health. So I said no to helping him during his coaching this year. He coaches wrestling and football, and this year I was like, listen, I need that time to work because I don't have the kids, and I'm sorry I can't help you. And I feel fantastic, and I haven't freaked out on him since. So, moral of the story is that sometimes I think as a mom, you freak out, and it doesn't really have anything to do with your ex or their partner or your kids. Like, this was very much a me thing, and it was because I didn't have any boundaries. And luckily, I was able to see that. I was able to talk to my therapist about that. But if your mom in this situation or dad doesn't have anyone to help them figure that out, like, it's a hard cycle to get out of. So I hope that helps a little.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right. There's a few things here to unpack. So, what are your thoughts about this? Saying no, because since you tried to say no to me earlier today.
You know what? Sometimes people go back into the past and they try to drudge up old issues, and we can never move forward, either as a people or as a show, if we're going to keep on dredging up old things from the past. And that runs right into this situation right here, because this has been going on for years. And she said some key words in her message. And I want to make sure I touch on them. I'll touch on them one at a time, and I'll give it back to you, and then I may touch on another one. I don't want to take up too much of the time here. But she had some enabling type statements that she made because she said it was not his fault. And because she would let him do this. I disagree with that. Because I'm not going to say it's no one's fault when they know they're taking advantage of you. If they know they're taking advantage of a situation, then I'm not going to say that they don't know what they're doing. And so by you saying it's not his fault because you let him do this, you have basically given him an out. Regardless of whether you did it or not, whether you kept the kids or not during the time he was supposed to have them so he can go out and work, you enabled him. And so he always knew that he had you as a backup plan. Now, what was missing from this, Chanel, was I heard her say she was missing out on money because she had to take off to watch the children. when he had to go because he couldn't miss out on making any money. I was waiting to hear, was she in some type of relationship? Was she married at this time now? Because she said it became a financial difficulty on her because she kept doing this. My whole thing is this right here. And you're going through this right now. I've gone through it with 6 children. If we have some kind of court agreement or we have some kind of documentation that shows who's supposed to watch the children when or who's supposed to have the children when, but we worked out some side agreement, then golly gee, we're going to need to hold up to it because you can't cost me money for me to watch our children. Because if I'm not making any money, then I can't provide for the children. If you're saying that you can't be off work unless you're not going to make any money, then darn, we need to find us some daycare or something to happen because we can't go into each other's pockets. You know, this situation she's in right now, while she went to her therapist, which was great, and she found there was some self-awareness that came from that, and she realized that what she was doing, but in the interim, she never said anything about him. So she bettered herself, but his situation, who knows if his situation got any better? Because for far as I'm concerned right now, she's gotten better. She finally learned how to put her foot down and say no. But what did he gain from it? Did he is there any resentment on his side now? Because I'm going to end it like this, and Chanel, I'm going to give this thing back to you unless we touch back on it. You don't have to justify yourself to anyone. She don't need to justify herself to him. She don't need to justify herself to his spouse, whoever she was. If it's not her time, no means no. No, I can't do it. You gonna miss our money? That's your problem. Find a daycare, find a babysitter. That's not my problem right now. If you are supposed to do it on this weekend, that's what you're supposed to do. If not, we keep it moving. I'll make arrangements. But what we're not going to do is you're not going to impede on my life because I've enabled you for the last 3 or 4 years to do this. Sooner or later, we have everything. Everybody has to be held accountable, and it sounds like now she's getting her life together and she's starting to hold him accountable. I would like to see what she had to say on that. What do you got to say on that one, Chanel?
Yeah. So I love that you brought up the fact that you know, he's making this extra money because this wasn't money that was accounted for when they went to court. This is some extra money he has to make or he needs to have. Okay, cool, that's fine. Give me some of that extra money that you're making since I'm missing out on my money. That's what we're going to do. Now, I will say this, Kev, because I feel like as a mom, I can kind of empathize with the way that the reasoning why she did this is because sometimes with some fathers, not all fathers, Kev, because I know you're a great dad, but sometimes with fathers, you can't always trust who they're going to have. Did I get stuck?
You got stuck. You said who they're gonna have. Now you back.
Okay. Am I back?
You're back.
I'm back. All right. So sometimes I'm saying this again because sometimes as moms, especially if you know who you were married to or who you had children with, you may not trust who they're going to leave your children with, or you may not be in agreement about who they leave your children with based off of some experiences. Yeah. So you would rather sacrifice your date, time, or money, whatever, to make sure that your children are well and taken care of. Now, I would say this though, if he's out there if it's because he needs to make extra money or he needs to do these things, I would have a long conversation with him and say this. First of all, I don't like that you disrespected me and made these plans without even checking in with me first. Number one, I'm gonna need you to do better with that. And this is your last warning on that. And number two, if I was not here to watch the kids, who are you going to leave the kids with? We need to have a conversation about that because I think we need to be on the same page as co-parents on who is in the village. Okay. It sounds like these co-parents are relatively close enough to where he can feel like he could just drop off and, call up at the last minute and she counseling plans and all that other stuff. So they're relatively locationally close, perhaps. Okay. So yes, y'all need to have that conversation because this man feels like, oh, I could just make these plans and Katie gonna keep them. Katie is no longer your wife, sir. She has a whole nother life. Okay. And so you got to be mindful. And so one of the things I love about my experience now is that even around around holidays, we don't even go and look at the order anymore. It's like, okay, are you traveling? Do you have plans? Because we're trying to make some plans. If you have plans, when are you going to be back in town? We have these discussions regularly, especially around the holidays, because whenever one of us is going back home to our hometown, we try to make sure that our son is, get that time. So, we have constant communication about different things. And I think that one of the things that I like about this video and what we're talking about, Kev, is that she went to her therapist to kind of get her whole mind together about this. And then she also realized that she kept putting herself probably even more on the back burner than she probably did in her marriage. Mm-hmm. And she's not even married to the dude. Mm-hmm. She's not even married to him anymore. Why are you doing this? I get that you want to be a good person and you want to be there for your kids, but is it really being there for your kids? Or is it because you don't want to ruffle his feathers because how he can get? Like, I will be interested to know that part of the story.
Well, I mean, she had a very, it's something that stuck out. And she said that he did not give her an answer as to which holiday that he wanted, because he said it was both were important. He didn't want to miss either one. That's not the question. She said which one? Which one? And see what happened was, with all the enabling that's probably going on the last couple of years, he felt that he can get away with it, that he could have both those weekends or something like that. So he didn't feel like he needed to justify an answer. She's saying that you're holding me up. We're taking vacation. And so it was going to be like, well, if you can't give me an answer, I'm going to give you the answer. I'm going to give you the answer. We're taking this holiday. You take the kids on that day. Then sorry, mm-hmm. Not sorry. The bottom line is this right here. When you get your voice as a co-parent, when you finally get your voice, and it may take therapy, it may take your spouse now that you're with, or it may take some outside influence for you to get your voice, for you to be able to say no, or for you to stand up for yourself because you're no longer in a relationship with that person, that other parent mm-hmm. anymore. But when you get your voice, woo!
It's a wrap.
You can say things that you always wanted to say. You can do things, you can do things you always wanted to do. Because the bottom line is that person does not have control over you anymore. Only thing you all have in common is the two children, I'm going to say your two children, could be six, your children. So your children are the only thing that you have in common anymore. And you should be working to ensure that your children are raised in the best environment, the most loving environment that you can put them in. Everything else is out the window. We don't have to sit there I don't have to sit there and actually work with you anymore. I mean, from the standpoint of getting along, we have to get along for our children, but I don't have to have a relationship with you anymore. My relationship can be a business-like relationship. If I have to take it there, it can be a business-like relationship. We don't have to be buddy-buddy. We want to be for the benefit of our children, but if it's not working out, then don't force that type of relationship onto the other parent, because there might not be at that point yet. Especially if we're going through a relationship, we have a co-parent relationship with someone, there's some infidelity or there's some abuse that went on or some other issue that went on that's hard to reconcile from. That's hard to, we say forgive and forget, but it might not be easy to forget. We quick to tell people to forgive and forget, but some things you might not be wanting to forget. It's going to take time to process that. Mm-hmm. And so me and Chanel talked to y'all about these things, about communication and working together and doing everything for the benefit of the children. But we know there are things that went on behind the scenes. That's why you two are not together anymore. Mm-hmm. And so we understand that. But we know that what you cannot do in this situation is give up of yourself to the point where you are nothing. And the other person is just stepping on you to get what they want. So be aware of that kind of stuff. If that's happening to you, then you need to take a step back from that thing and reassess that situation. Like she did, she went to a therapist and had to have a sit down conversation so she could find herself. So maybe if that's you, then you need to go find yourself to figure out what it is that you need to do in order for the two of you all to be able to work together for the best for your children. Take it home,
Yeah.
Chanel.
Absolutely. And I love that you said, your voice. I don't necessarily feel like people need to find it. I feel like they already have it. They just need to use it. They just need to learn to use it, because here's the deal. Sometimes a relationship, especially if you're in a relationship with a bully, you may have stopped your voice. You may have just silenced your voice just to get through the day to day, right? And so you're no longer in that situation anymore. You have been delivered. Okay, you have been delivered. So now it's time to use your voice. And I love to coach people that have been silenced for years, and I love to help them use their voice. I'm not a singing lesson teacher, but I help people to find their voice. I help people to find their voice in communicating and enforcing their boundaries and establishing them and making sure that people are where they need to be in their lives and not overstepping those boundaries. So, Kev, this was a great topic. I'm loving that you're finding these things and bringing them to light. And I really love, especially talking about boundaries, because boundaries is something that, especially in our community, we don't really talk about. It's like, oh, that's your auntie, you better do da da da. No, auntie said some stuff she didn't need to be saying. She just stepped into some business that wasn't hers.
Yeah. Got a question for you before we hang it up. Did you say boundaries or boundaries?
Boundaries.
Okay, just making sure, because I thought I heard boundaries. I didn't know what that word meant.
Boundaries.
Boundaries is Boundries. I didn't know if that was actually
That's a word.
You said it. You said boundaries.
Okay, you know what? Y'all, make sure y'all like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that y'all are notified when we're back on here with these amazing topics that will hit you right where you live in your day to day. And Kev, where can they find you?
Oh, you can find me on IG at Kevin_L_Scott on IG, and then while you're in there, just go into my profile, click on my profile, and see the plethora of things I have to offer. I have just added, matter of fact, by the time you see this, it's going to be out there for a little while, but I added a what's the scenario survey on there for you all to look at and answer that question. Because what I do out there for the surveys that are out there on my profile, it's in my profile, I use that to help other co-parents. And also, some of the stuff we have on there may show up on this show. You never know. Chanel.
You never know.
Where else can they find you at?
They can find me also on IG at Chanel Renee Speaks. All of that information will be down below in the description of this video. And of course, in the link in my profile, you will see all the amazing things that I have going on, from my digital downloads to my physical actual journals that you can purchase and have a part of your what do you call those? What do you call that, Kev? When people have like just important things in their arsenal, your arsenal of information that you can use to just go throughout your life, whether you just need something general, you need something specific like dating or relationship. You can find all of that stuff in the link in my bio. So, Kev, take us home.
Oh, I don't know you take us home. I used to tell people to stay safe and be blessed. And Chanel, you take us home by doing what?
You want me to take us home?
Go ahead.
You want me to take us home? Okay, well, y'all just keep putting God first. You're going to stay safe and be blessed and keep putting God first, because when you put him first, he will never steer you wrong. Steer you wrong. Did I say steer you wrong? Steer you wrong.
Steer you wrong. Yeah, we got that right, y'all.
Steer you wrong.
Steer you wrong.
He would never steer you wrong.
Steer you wrong, and go ahead and protect your boundaries. We out.